Frank's Red Hot is the perfect blend of flavor and heat, so you can use an entire bottle to make recipes like buffalo chicken dip or buffalo nachos, or even things that don't start with buffalo. Frank's Red Hot, I put that on everything.
Hey, Craig.
Hey, it's Jeff.
Are you ready?
Hey, hold on. I'm trying to sing my song. I've been requested to sing a song. So all the Cougs win no matter what. Because it's a fucking spring game, so you can't lose. All right.
That's the best part of the spring game for sure.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the spring game edition. Live from the tailgate, as you definitely can tell.
You can
a
hear
podcast versus everyone.
Podcast versus everyone. Podcast versus I think we just blew out our microphone.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that everyone's ears are ruined.
Sorry, I'm sorry if we just ruined the speakers in your car or on your headphones.
All right, I am Craig Powers. I am with Jeff Newser.
Hello.
And we might have some special guests. Might have dogs, babies, who knows?
Yeah,
people looking for their wine, looking for their beer.
But we do have lots of special beer.
We have lots of special beer today. All beer waxed in either crimson or gray. And to start us off, Jeff, I have us drinking some Cherry Rye Midnight Still from Holy Mountain.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was very cherry. But not. I mean, it was definitely there, but not so overpowering. You're like, oh, it tastes like CougCenter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And next, after I finish this one, I'll pour us the. That's from 2016. I'll pour us the no variant Midnight Still from 2018. This Cherry Rye is actually the least loved Midnight Still of all the Holy Mountain Midnight Still variants. I can kind of taste why cherry is not a great adjunct for stouts. It's hard to work with. This one is definitely aged better. It didn't start out that well. So sorry if I'm serving you my beer that I didn't even think is very good.
I thought it was good. It was good. Cherry, like you said, cherry's always kind of tricky, and I think cherry's kind of a tricky flavor no matter what, just because, and I kind of mentioned before the cough syrup factor.
Yeah,
it can taste like cough syrup pretty easy, and this definitely didn't. You could definitely taste the cherry, but it was also you could taste the bourbon, and it just was. It was good. It was good. If you like cherry, I wouldn't recommend it if you don't like cherry.
So I brought the newer version because actually Midnight Still basically what Holy Mountain is doing is back blending previous year's versions that have just been sitting in barrels longer, and every year the beer just gets better. They release it probably every 15 months or so. So I'm excited. We'll pop that one in a few minutes here. How would you rate in terms of Gardner Minshew Jort covered thighs? How would you rate this beer? How many?
I would rate this 4 Jort covered thighs, thunder thigh muscles thighs.
Those are some thighs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably go 3. This is not my favorite Midnight Still. It's nice to revisit it. It's about 2.5 years old, almost 3 years old at this point. Actually, yeah, about 3 years old. But I got one more bottle left. But I'll be interested to see if it changes at all. I think you'll definitely like when we bust out that 2018. You'll see the difference in the body, in the chocolatiness, whatever. So the spring game today, man. We are in Pullman, of course. We are right behind the air-supported structure.
We are in the back of the ass.
We are at the back of the ass.
Behind the ass.
Yeah, that's where we are. It's really cool. People have their RVs out here. Our friend Brian Anderson's got his RV with his girlfriend Katie.
We'll get Brian on.
We'll get Brian over here. He's grilling up some stuff right now. He's feeding everyone. He's a good host. Overall, man, you want to talk about the game first, or you want to talk about Talk about the atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about just the overall atmosphere, because I know, part of the deal was, moving it back to Pullman and getting it away from Spokane, and just sort of the interest there of, what do we, where should this game be, right? Bill Moose originally moves it to Spokane to try and engage Spokane. He saw that as a real fundamental central place to his, to his strategy of fundraising, right? And then it was like, it was fine. Like we talked about last week, I enjoyed going to Spokane. Like it was an enjoyable experience for me. But I think what you see right now with the people who are in charge is they sort of recognize the unique value of Pullman, right? And understanding that Pullman is a special place, and that Pullman is the attraction. And right. I think what you see today, and again, people listening to this who aren't here, I wouldn't say it's, like a Cougar Football Saturday or anything in that respect, but, there were probably, 5,000 or 6,000 people at the game today, and it felt like an event in a way that the Spokane game never felt, and I thought that was a really positive move.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing the club seats was an excellent idea. I had a lot of friends who have never had the chance to be up there before. I heard a lot of, man, this is great just to be able to see the club. They can show off kind of one of the better, one of the nicer pieces of the athletic department overall, the club seats, and just to give everyone, any CAF member, a chance and to buy tickets, bring their friends. I brought a bunch of friends who are CAF members, and they were just loving to have that experience. Like, it was so cool. Obviously, it rained, so they had all the people who were on one side for TV purposes. They had to move under the club, so it's nice that we have that now. In Joe Albee, when it rained, everyone just got wet. So it was just great, because having you get the video graphics, the video board, the music. They played back home. It's like they got a lot of the experience. Unfortunately, they set up the Cougar, but they had to tear it down because of the rain. We got some of my friend's daughter got a little angry at us for not taking them down in time.
They did not get to jump in the bouncy house.
Yeah, they did not get to jump in the Butch bouncy house. That was a bummer. But it was a lot of fun. They had beer and wine. They ran out of chicken strips before the game even started.
That's actually kind of a Cardinal sin.
Yeah, I know.
You can't run out of chicken strips.
Not when people are drinking.
No, that's like if you've got children around, like chicken strips are sort of necessary.
Oh yeah, we had 3 little girls with us, and they all wanted chicken strips, and none of them got chicken strips. So yeah. Oh, we got a picture. So we're taking a picture. Oh, we got Jeff's getting beer spilled on me.
I just got beer spilled on me. We got pictures. I don't even know what's going on right now.
Is that a nipple? Or?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, get a beer poured on your shirt. What are you even doing at home? That's all I'm saying.
That was the voice of Michael Preston.
Which you should all know already, I'm sure. So yeah, this is a different podcast. Obviously, we're together, which is different.
That's
and
different.
Then there's 40 people around
and there's
us.
There's a party happening around us, which we will definitely. Do I still have beer on me? Okay, thank you. So we will definitely get. You know what? It's a party in Pullman. This is the deal.
But yeah, I mean, it's the party started early. I had we were at the hotel with our continental breakfast. We had a nice beer mosa with some Georgetown Lucille IPA. So that was a blast. And then we just kept it going. We kept it going in the club. A couple beers. But yeah, the chicken strips. Forget about it. The chicken strips was a bummer, but hey, they had food. Obviously, some at Joe Albee we didn't see really so much, and just being in Pullman has been great.
Well, when you go to Joe Albee, it feels like a practice.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it really does just feel like, hey, we're just doing this thing, and it feels like a practice. This was definitely felt like a scaled down game. Absolutely. That's kind of the way I put it. I mean, the band was there. there were a lot, like I said, there's probably 5,000 or 6,000 people, which obviously does not fill Martin Stadium, but it was definitely enough that the place didn't feel empty.
Well, yeah, and
which
especially
is really
because
cool.
they only sold tickets in certain areas, so they sold out all the club. I think it's 1,100 tickets in the club sold out. So that area up there felt full, and you had people around you, and the band was in its rightful place behind the end zone.
I know Jeff O'Neill of the Cougar Football Saturday Cast. He will be so happy that the band was in the end zone.
Yeah, so everyone in the stadium could hear it. My daughter loved the band. That was her favorite thing.
He loves music.
Oh, yeah, she was dancing. She has had a rough day of napping, or not napping.
Not napping.
So she went back to the hotel room with her mom to hopefully snag some Z's. But yeah, so overall, I mean, I've been so excited. I've been looking forward to this weekend, and it's just delivered, man. Like it's so great to have this in Pullman. I'm happy. Like everyone just seems like just happy. I know. Like my girlfriend wouldn't have come if it wasn't in Pullman. I have other friends that came with us that they wouldn't have cared about going if it was in Spokane.
Yep.
So it's more of an attraction here, and like you said, the Pullman's an attraction. We're gonna go to the Emerald for dinner. I haven't eaten at that place, the Chinese place. I haven't eaten there in 12 years. But we're like, hey, we figured that won't be too packed.
Yeah, no, probably not.
We went to the South Fork last night. That was the first time I went there.
It's fancy.
I wouldn't call it that.
Fancy.
But yeah, I had some Cougar Gold mac and cheese. It was all right. I make better. But they had some nice beer list, and they had fry sauce
That's
there.
What really matters.
They had some fry sauce.
Well,
so
somebody has to carry the fry sauce.
Someone hit some fry sauce. I mean, it was really sad to see Cougar Country just not open.
Just sitting there.
And it would have been just packed. We came in on
Friday. It would have been.
But the highlight of the weekend so far is we got in early enough on Friday to go to Ferdinand's. And I got some of that, that baseline price Cougar Gold.
Yep.
And some of that. And then we had some good ice cream. B got to experience that ice cream. And so, yeah, that's something you can't do in Spokane. So, again, really excited. It's important.
And I saw that the Powers clan made its way around campus and took pictures in lots of iconic spots.
Oh, yeah. We went to the Coug.
You guys were on parade.
We went to the Coug, of course, Cougar Pride statue. We walked around, showed the kids where their moms and dads lived in freshman year, and Wilmer Davis and Duncan Dunn and all that.
You're like, look, kids, this is where mommy and daddy lived, and they were like...
My poor sister is 6 months pregnant, and she's sitting right next to us, so I had to come. So she's been huffing it around with us.
I saw you guys up in the club area, and I was like, yes. So Steph's giving me the look right now, the same look that I got up there, which is, I'm 6 months pregnant, and I've been walking all over this fucking place for the last 3 hours, and I'm about done with this shit.
My watch says we walked 5 miles a day. So Jeff, I'm going to crack this second beer.
All right, well, so while you're cracking the beer, I'll talk. So my initial impressions of the game. Gordon and Tinsley both look good. I think Gordon looked a little better. Threw the ball, I think, with a little more confidence, and then made some throws, I think, that were, there was one throw in particular that was, I think, a really big-time throw. He kind of dropped it in the bucket, moved around a little bit in the pocket, and then just kind of off his back foot flicked it to a guy on the sideline about 20 yards downfield. So I think Gordon looked a little better. I think one thing that was impressive to me was that in years past, and we'll probably talk more about the quarterbacks, but the offensive line, I think. So in the past, what they generally have done when the offensive line is a little thinner is they will have the offensive line, they'll have like a unit of like 5 or 6 guys who will just sort of like, switch sides, right? And so, today what they actually had 2 full, 5-man units, and both of those units, I think, comported themselves fairly well. So. What'd you think?
I have a mic holder right now. That's why we pay him the big bucks.
Wait, now I have
yeah,
the mic.
So this is why we brought this was the long game in bringing Brian and Michael on at CougCenter, was so they could hold our mics.
You see, BA, here's the problem. We're so professional. And
if there's been any criticism of us over like my experience with CougCenter,
it's a lack of professionalism, right?
Is that we're too professional?
So here's what I thought about with the offensive line. These guys are talking about the offensive line, right? I thought Cade Beresford, who is, I'm not at all biased against, because he's from Woodinville, where I am not from.
But do you like Woodinville?
How dare you? In that he was good. I thought he was very good today. Wait, you're trying to replace Andre Dillard, which is hard. And he did okay today, which, you know, I understand.
So
that, like,
after one scrimmage in the spring, you're not willing to say that he has successfully replaced Andre Dillard?
Yeah, I'm not willing to say he's
Even
replaced
he's
a top 15 pick in the NFL draft. I'm not willing to say that, no.
Right.
But I thought he was very serviceable. And, you know, it's hard to replace that, and I thought he looked okay over there. And if that's the one weakness, if you pull a guard to help or an inside receiver to help him, I thought he looked okay over there.
So in case it's not clear, that is the voice of Michael Preston, host of the CougCenter
podcast.
The other voice was the voice of Brian Anderson, host of the pre-snap read.
Sure.
Yeah, there we go. All right, so Brian. Okay, so I was just saying that I was encouraged by the fact that they didn't go with the sort of all-time the all-time QB because they did it with Cameron Cooper for a little while. But in years past, they've gone with an all-time offensive line, having to play both sides. This year they had two sets of five, and I thought both played pretty well.
Yeah, they played really well. I think it was a pretty good showcase for like Anthony Gordon in particular. I think he really stepped up and played well and made some really exciting plays. And Trey Tinsley kind of did the Luke Falk thing a little bit, where it felt kind of comfortable and it looked like what we've seen before. It wasn't all that exciting. Just kind of looked like a guy that had been in the system and executed the drill 100 times and just did that again.
Go ahead.
And Cameron was struggling. He was on the struggle bus.
That one hurts because like in my friend group, and I'm sure that like everybody is kind of having these conversations where it was, well, Leach recruits high-star quarterbacks and none of them work, right?
Right. He is just a redshirt freshman.
Like
so
all of
the
right. Like all of the quarterbacks that we've gotten to work here at WSU have been walk-on, or just like we're like way outside of the norm, right? Like we aren't doing anything. So
even Gardner Minshew was a walk-on.
Yeah. So in my friend group, as I'm sure is in like anybody else's, it's like, well, is this high star?
Hey, who's got my beer?
Finally, be the one that like pans out.
Yeah.
And I've been on his side the whole time. Like, just give him some time, let it pan out. Today was a very bad day for people like me because he looked awful.
He did look bad.
You almost that. We almost had a pick six in the spring game. 26, one of the new JUCO safeties.
He could have walked in if he had caught it.
Yeah, if he caught the ball. So, but yeah, it was. There's a lot of the JUCO safeties. Obviously, Skylar Thomas was definitely in the nickel corner spot the entire time, and we saw a lot of new guys. They were whatever. I think the defense was getting pretty shredded on both ends until Cameron Cooper came in.
Yeah, I don't know if I. You know what? I don't know if I totally agree with that. I'll be honest. I don't totally agree with that because I felt like. So at first it was all offense, like Gordon and Tinsley both marching their units up and down the field. But then there was
Jeff, you're burping into that mic. Calm down.
No, I'm saying like about the second half of the second quarter, I felt like it sort of slowed down a little bit. I felt like the defense kind of found their footing a little bit, and things weren't. So I guess the always the conundrum of a spring game is it good offense? Is it bad defense? Are we going to win the Pac-12 because the offense is awesome? Are we going to not win a game next year because the defense sucks?
The
Which is it,
yes.
right? The answer is yes, right? So it's just sort of like I like the fact that there were moments on both sides.
Yeah, definitely. Also, Desmond Patman is a fucking
Beast.
He's a bigger beast.
A bigger beast.
Like, he stood out.
Yeah.
Somebody who didn't really stand out too much was Lamont McDougal.
Yeah, okay, so we weren't sitting next to each other. So we haven't had this conversation.
Yeah.
We had that conversation up where we were sitting. It was, like, okay, like, and that definitely jives with what I saw in practice, where it's not like he was bad, but it just was like, if you were sort of expecting him to be like a wrecker, like a person who was just going to dominate. I didn't see that in practice, and I didn't see that today. Maybe that's because he's still getting his feet after not playing competitively for a year. Maybe that's because he's not as good as we thought. Or maybe our offensive line's pretty damn good. I don't know.
Which our offensive line probably is pretty damn good.
That's probably true.
But, I mean, they gave him number 9. They must think he's good.
That's true. If you can talk him into giving the defensive line number 9, they must think you're worth something.
So we talked about Cassidy Woods before. He didn't really do much. I tried to watch him in routes a few times. He wasn't really getting looked at. He also wasn't getting really open that much. So. But some of the other, our core inside receivers had some real nice games. Renard Bell, Travell Hayes.
Wow.
They were looking good. What do we have? What do we have?
Somebody dropped a cup of beer, and it landed flat, and the beer kind of splatted up, but he just picked the beer up. Like, that was,
very briefly,
that was incredible.
He dropped it, and it landed flat, and then the beer just went ship. As if it were a geyser in Yellowstone.
That's kind of what it looked like.
And then we picked it back up.
That is definitely what it was.
And we continued to drink the beer because we are in
Because that's
Washington.
What we do. That's what we do.
And
someone's licking it off the. What's that?
And if I may editorialize a bit, boys, guys, if you have not come back here, may I cuss on this podcast?
Hell yeah, this is
It's
the
encouraged.
CougCenter.
You know I don't. Oh well, don't you dare! How dare you? First of all, how dare you?
This isn't the
You
goddamn
say you're like,
CougCenter
oh, that's a
hour.
CougCenter. We don't cuss. We don't follow FCC regulations.
Dude, we cuss. We call the president a racist. This is different.
Guys, come back to fucking Pullman, please. Anyone, if you're thinking about it, if you want to look for a fucking Airbnb, a hotel, if you want to sleep in the ass, the air-supported instruction, we'll find a fucking place for you. We'll do it. Guys, I'm serious. This is home.
Yeah.
And
I hope this is just the beginning.
Like,
Because we spent the first, okay, so you weren't over here yet. We spent the first, 5 minutes or so talking about how great it is to be back in Pullman. I'm hoping this is just the beginning.
dude, one of the most egregious things about the last few years was the fact that the spring game wasn't in Pullman.
No,
and it was so so weird because I get it in that we need to have the spring game in Spokane because we're trying to convince Spokane folks to come down, but also there's students, there's alum who want to come back here.
Look, I understood. So did you? I mean, are you like me? Did you understand why Moose tried to do that? Like,
yes.
Did it make sense to try?
Yes.
But then it became clear that Spokane.
It wasn't.
I mean, if we just speak in very general terms, and I don't want to offend anybody who listens to this who lives in Spokane, but in just very general terms, Spokane just kind of doesn't give a shit. And it's like I said earlier, Pullman is the attraction. Pullman should be the center of this.
They're a Gonzaga Bulldog town, which is fine.
And that's okay. I get it.
I totally get it. But one of the things I've been encouraged with Pat Chun, and we'll talk about this more in the fall on the CougCenter podcast every Wednesday during the fall and early August, is the refocus on let's get people to Pullman. And do you know why? Because as my wife and I were driving over here last night for the spring game, I said to her, it is dark, this drive sucks, but this feels like I'm driving home. And I'm driving back to a place where I feel so familiar. And I feel so like I belong to this place, and I feel so like Craig wants to drink. But I feel like so every time I come back here, I don't care about how much alcohol
Point on the goal where Pullman touched you.
Right on the groin. But no, but seriously, it is this. I feel like I am back home every time we come here.
Yeah.
And the emphasis on this needs to be that
let's start singing.
that every time we do
By the way,
this.
you weren't crying during that video. I was crying.
Yeah, fuck you. Oh wait, cuss on this. Good.
That's
But it is.
It comes so natural.
Guys, like it's this thing where we're like, I know it's a chore for people to come here, but I keep telling people like, oh, I've been here the first time in 9 years. Just come here. Just come here. Because you know why? Because you're gonna love it and you're gonna remember it. And I'm gonna love it. I've been alum for it since 2010. Good lord.
Don't even get me started.
I don't get you started on that.
1999 over here.
But
Before the turn of the millennium.
but still, it's this. I remember what it was like, and I come back here, and it's just what it is again. And it was the spring game, and we watched that Cameron Cooper. He threw a bunch of great, well, not great,
a bunch of interceptions.
but
Made the DBs look good.
They made the DBs look good.
Greg, what beer are you drinking?
We
we've moved on to another beer, by the way.
Oh yeah, we opened another beer. Thank you, Michael, for that. Beer fuel. Homage to this town we all love. But yeah, you were saying so I play that back home video for my daughter every single day, and when that came up on the big screen, she was just in awe.
Excited.
Oh my god!
Look at it on that big screen.
And like there was some tears.
Tequila? Tequila?
No,
I feel like you're
Wow.
America's
Wow.
funniest
Okay,
We,
so
we have hecklers.
we don't have hecklers.
We're getting heckled.
Katie
You're like
Stevens.
America's funniest home videos
Brian's
right now.
We're like America's funniest
She
home
doesn't
videos.
like
I don't have my own identity.
Bob
I'm
Saget.
She doesn't. Yeah. No, I
We are
said
like
Katie
Bob
Stevens.
Saget, but the one after.
She's going to be our volleyball.
The one after. Shit, what is that called? Full
All right,
House.
so Katie, pick up
We are
the
post Full House. I'm
Pick up the
saying
food and come back.
all of our listeners have dropped at this point.
We're gonna have Katie on the podcast here in a second. As you can tell, we're gonna rotate some people through on the podcast here. So we've had Michael on, we've had BA on, Katie was here, so we're gonna get Katie back on.
I think Preston needs 3 more beers before he comes back on.
Come on, Katie, let's get over here. Okay, all right. So let's see. First of all, impressions of the quarterback battle from the game.
I think there's a tight race for first and second, and then it's a bit of a drop-off. But overall, strong, aggressive play. I think the receivers are stacked, so there's lots to choose from. But, I mean, otherwise, it's every man for himself is going to win. Going to play.
What would you consider to be sort of the most memorable? What was the thing you noticed, the biggest takeaway?
I wouldn't say positive with this comment, but I think Gunnar came in and showed some excitement, some plays, some reads. He overthrew a couple guys, but I think he was just jacked to play. We were excited, but that's really good coming in for a few months of play and picking things up.
All right, so now while you were outside the suite at the game, we had a conversation with our esteemed volleyball coach. So what insight can you give us? There's been a fight song. What insight can you give us about this year's volleyball team?
So this year is a bit of a transition year for volleyball. We had a strong couple years, a lot of seniors. They left. So they're a little more more constricted in how they can interact. They only had 8 girls that could play one middle, so they didn't want to burn her out. So they played a lot of just in-house drills. They have 7 freshmen coming in, some really talented girls, but if you know much about volleyball, it's chemistry and flow. So Jen's going to work really hard, as we know Jen does, in the off-season summer, getting the chemistry rolling and getting the girls playing together. But it could be an interesting season. She's recruiting well. We've got a lot of excitement around volleyball, a lot of turnout. So I think we're going to be competitive. It'll just be interesting to see how we replace some key players.
Yeah, for big,
Taylor Mims. Yep, Taylor Mims is gone. Obviously, we're super excited about her, but it'll be good. I mean, we've got so much excitement around it, and we've made the tournament 2 years in the last couple of years. So.
You gonna write for us?
Maybe.
That sounds like a yes.
Maybe a good preseason intro. If anyone's interested in volleyball, maybe let us know.
People are
Feedback.
interested.
Okay. All right.
Too many dicks on the dance floor.
Go Cougs!
Go Cougs. All right.
I'm just gonna. Does anyone have a bottle opener?
Now, we're looking for a bottle live on the podcast. We are looking for a bottle opener. We've now moved on to beer number 3.
Yeah,
what's beer number 3, Craig?
Okay, well, we haven't even talked about beer number 2.
And by the way, if people are like wondering how we move so quickly between beers, it's because
we're just sampling.
We're sampling.
We're sharing them with like a bunch of people.
So,
all right. Hey, now
right,
also, do you
Brian
want to open
Logan, the
this
famous Brian Logan, is.
we open it for me?
Maybe? I don't know. All right.
Open?
I'm trying to make
it. Open it? Jesus. What is that?
What the fuck is
Are you a janitor?
What is that?
Let's see. You want basketball or baseball?
Wait a second.
Open it for me, buddy.
This is amazing.
Football.
I need to take a picture.
Right.
Hold on. All right, so I'm going to take a picture of this thing that I can post to Twitter when
Janitor
I
Brian.
post the podcast. Because this is like
Brian has many doors that he has to open.
There we go. Okay,
Many beers that need to be opened.
Okay. I'm trying to describe this.
Where do we go? Which one did you go with?
Which is full of like.
I went with Homecoming 2010.
Homecoming. Oh yeah, SEB.
2010.
Brian used to work for the Student Entertainment Board here.
That's good. That's awesome.
He was sending me pictures. Him and his brother were sending me pictures from the T-Pain concert.
Yep. So
trying
this
to
is
make me feel jealous.
Brian coming to our rescue. So little known story. His brother Brad was a student at Emerald Ridge when I was a teacher there. So that's something that makes me feel super old, super duper old. Although that doesn't quite compare to like being out here before the game and then running into one of my students who graduated last year. So that was something. I don't know, man. It's all right. It's being back here it makes me feel young and old simultaneously, kind of every time. I don't know about you, but so last week when I was here,
you still got some beer.
I still got some beer in there. Okay, hold on, you talk.
Yeah, all right. So, yes. He was drunk before he got to us.
So we just got asked by Michael's wife what we did to his husband.
Michael, Sammy, who is the voice.
Sammy.
The voice of the CougCenter Hour intro.
The voice of the CougCenter Hour intro. How you doing, Sammy?
I'm doing great.
See, you recognize the voice? Everybody?
I'm doing great, guys. I just...
I promise you that your husband was already in the state before he came over to us.
He was like that before.
That's probably not incorrect.
We got a nice 10-minute
He looks like he's struggling with
poem.
text messaging right now.
He's struggling standing right now.
That's kind of true.
The text messaging portion is not the concern. It's the standing portion that I'm concerned about. But, he'll make it. Ooh, what is this silver...
not so much tilt, Jeff.
Whoa, what is
it's going to end up on my lap.
Silver wax beer that you're...
So this is so I'll say the beer we had previously. We started with the Cherry Rye Midnight Still. Then we had the 2018 Bourbon Barrel Regular Midnight Still. Jeff, we'll recap. Jeff, what did you think of that Bourbon Barrel Midnight Still?
It's fantastic. That was like, so are we sticking to whole integers, or are we able to have like
you can break it
half
down.
integers?
You can go.
And we're on Gardner Minshew jorts, right? Or we moved on to a different.
We'll go to a different one. Mike Leach cargo pants.
Oh, Mike Leach cargo shorts.
He was rocking those cargo shorts.
This was like 4.5 Mike Leach cargo shorts.
Yeah. I'm in a line right along there. Midnight Still's just gotten better, and the most recent version is the best version. So, the next beer we're having, another silver gray, or more of a gray wax. This is from a brewery we have not featured yet on the podcast. Postgame Brewing out of Redmond, Washington, not Oregon. Washington. There are a lot of breweries in Redmond, Oregon, but this is Redmond, Washington. So this is the double barrel Postgame Brewing Demon Star Imperial Stout. I believe the 2 barrels that it was aged in were bourbon barrels and then port barrels. So this is aged. So they aged it in a barrel, and then they took it out of that barrel and put it in a different barrel to age in for longer. So that's what we call a double barrel beer. It's a long and expensive process. I actually went and took B to this release, picked it up in Redmond. So yeah, have you had some yet?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Okay, so for this review, I'm going to pass the microphone over to Brian, who helped us open the bottle. And Brian can give his review. This is Brian Logan, everybody, famous Brian Logan. He can give his review. Go ahead, Brian.
So, Brian, what are you thinking on this beer?
Well, thank you, Jeff. This is pretty incredible. A lot of times when you do the double barrel thing, I personally get worried about oxidation. I've seen that a little bit where I think it's like cardboard taste.
Yeah.
But from this, I get
coming right out with the hot fire beer knowledge right there, Brian. Showing it off.
You definitely wouldn't say that, but let me do another sip really quick.
Oh, I do that every time.
Do you taste the cognac?
No, it could use more cognac.
It should every beer really though.
Really, but very good. Postdog's done
Even
a lot of really good stuff, and their barrel program's getting better. It's kind of a cool setup that they have there. This is really, really, really solid.
Yeah, I think this was a 1 per, so this is my one. Yeah. The one that I have.
I'll definitely appreciate you sharing here. I would drink this over a lot of the other barrel aged stuff that I've been able to get my hands on. This is really good. You get a lot of character notes. The malt still shows through, even though there's a lot of barrel character. And the sweetness isn't overwhelming, but you get some of those things when they try to bump that up.
Especially because one of the barrels is port, I think. So that can lend itself some very sweet beer.
Sense.
Yep. Yeah, but I just got the same nod, and he's not a professional podcaster, folks. I mean, you can't expect him to banter like that. We've been trained. We went to podcasting school.
That's right.
I'm straight up amateur here. I'm flailing. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He works in IT, so
there you go.
What can you expect? All right, thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, if you're coming on the podcast, I'm going to make fun of you. It's going to happen. Oh, Jeff.
Who else haven't we had on yet? My wife hasn't been on.
Just while we're
Scott
waiting,
hasn't been on. Kevin hasn't been on.
I promised that anyone that would email us with complaints would get made fun of on the podcast.
Oh, did somebody email a complaint? Oh, they did. That's right. I remember this.
So
go ahead.
The person didn't have a name. I'm not even going to bother reading their email name because it was just not a real name. But they said podcast. I believe it was podcast is trash.
Yeah, that was the subject line. Podcast is trash.
And then they used another adjective. Podcast is garbage, I believe, in the body of the text. And they said that talking about warm up throws. What are you trying to do? Pump up this guy. I think
he was talking about Good Brew.
Yeah, I assume he was talking about Gage Good Brew. So in our long rambling podcast, typically 90-plus minutes, I believe you talked about Good Brew throwing that spring ball
maybe like 3 minutes.
For 2 or 3 minutes.
Maybe.
So, and then you also gave equal time probably to Tinsley and Gordon and Cooper and Gunnar Cruz even. And
John Bledsoe.
Yeah, Gunnar Cruz. Well, we can talk John Bledsoe.
We could talk about John Bledsoe.
He threw a touchdown.
He looked okay today.
So we thought the game was over. And then we decided that every quarterback needs a drive.
We're going to play every quarterback.
So after the game, Cooper played pretty much the entire second half.
He played a lot.
And then for both teams.
Well, here's the thing. They gave him a lot. So for people who weren't there and haven't watched it. So Cooper was the all-time quarterback on both sides.
For the whole second half.
Pretty much the whole second half. And it kind of seemed like they were trying to give him an opportunity to redeem himself every time something bad happened.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then, like, bad things sort of kept happening, including his last throw was what should have been a touchdown. He made the right reach. It was like a little, like, kind of post thing. Should have thrown it a little bit more into space. Didn't throw it far enough into space. And then the DB caught up when the throw showed up, and it wasn't. And it actually ended up being an interception. Really nice play, by the way, by the DB. I thought it was. I think you probably thought the same thing. It was incomplete.
Yeah.
DB had actually intercepted it. So, it was a rough day for Mr. Cooper, and then they gave Mr. Bledsoe. And then I'm going to sound so terrible. I don't even know who like the fifth-string walkout guy is.
Angelos.
There we go. I don't know that guy. That guy, he made a nice throw.
Yeah, and he was about 5
He almost threw a touchdown.
9, I want to say.
Yeah.
He's listed as 6 foot.
Yeah,
There's
good for
no
him.
way.
Good for
But anyways, but yeah, so he came in. That's when I left. Because we were like, okay, it's over. And then Bledsoe comes out. Okay, cool. We'll watch John Bledsoe lead a drive. And then Gunnar Cruz, you're like, all right, I got to watch Gunnar Cruz. And then the last Angelos comes out. I have no idea who this person is.
By the way, what did you think of Gunnar Cruz?
Big body, man.
He's
a huge dude.
He's freaking
He looks
huge.
like a damn quarterback.
Yes, he does. He is. I don't know if we've had a quarterback that size since Ryan Leaf. I mean, maybe someone will correct me, but he's huge. He's really that big.
Burgers and dogs are ready, everybody.
Burgers and dogs are ready.
Come on down.
Come on
Oh,
down.
we
We'll
haven't
get some
fucked the
burgers and
Huskies. Our first of the day.
But yeah, like I thought he looked pretty good. Initially made some really kind of decisive throws, and then hit a little rough patch. But I thought, for a true freshman, I thought he looked pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think he bailed out of the pocket a little quick sometimes.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
He definitely, he definitely airmailed some throws, but it wasn't like the Tyler Bruckman performance where it was every throw was just juiced every throw was to Dikembe Mutombo or something, But he definitely missed. He had his chance to finish his drive with a touchdown. He didn't. He missed a couple throws, but overall, yeah, he looks the part. He's a fucking freshman. He's got stuff to work. Like he's playing to work on.
Well, keep going.
Yeah. So Bledsoe, a fine fifth-string quarterback. So we're just trying to get another person on the podcast right now, but
I think we're gonna get Kevin Dudley over here.
Yeah, Kevin.
Come on,
Dudley.
Kevin. What? So Kevin writes our Saturday morning Hot Cougar action. By the way, in case you are listening to this, you don't know that. That's what HCA stands for. Hot Cougar action. Kevin writes our Saturday Hot Cougar action. Kevin is also our resident hockey guy. Yeah.
Big hockey fan, but I am disappointed that the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Calgary Flames are both out of the NHL playoffs because both of those teams boast a Spokane native on their squad, and they were the top seeds in each conference.
The
So
Stanley Cup is not coming to Spokane.
exactly, the Stanley Cup will not be visiting Spokane this summer.
When I moved to Burlington, Vermont, who's the goalie for the Bruins?
Tim Thomas.
Tim Thomas.
He's from Vermont.
Very much not a standard guy. But anyway, so I got they through this town center of Burlington, Vermont. I got to watch the Stanley Cup roll through after the Bruins won. That was right when we moved to Vermont. It was like, whoa, this is cool.
Did you touch the Stanley Cup?
I did not get to touch
Good,
it. They kept it far away from us.
If you touch it before you've won it, you're cursed, apparently.
Yeah, and honestly, I probably never will win it, so I'd have been cursed for a very long time.
That's the thing. If you never have a chance to win it, go ahead and touch it.
Yeah.
Who cares? You're not on a team.
But so how fired up are you? So you live in Spokane. So how fired up are you for Seattle? Does it move your needle just because it's kind of closer?
It makes it easier to attend an NHL game. I mean, Vancouver is nearby, but it's still extremely expensive to attend an NHL game in Vancouver.
Yes,
Plus, you got to cross the border and all that. You got to do the exchange rate and all that. But I am excited for the Seattle team. I know. I mean, expansion teams typically aren't very good their first few years. Vegas,
Las
notwithstanding.
Vegas blew that shit up.
Yeah, they're kind of an outlier, at least so far, but we'll see. It depends on who Seattle hires as their GM, what the expansion draft rules are. Regardless of all that, I'm excited for an NHL team. I mean, other than Vancouver, the closest NHL team to where I live in Spokane is Denver, Colorado.
Right.
And I'm not going to visit there very often, so I'm quite excited.
So I've attended a number of NHL games, and I have a hard time sort of describing to people why it's awesome. Like, and I'm not a huge hockey fan, and I'll attend some minor league games. I know you cover, Spokane Chiefs games, stuff like that for the spokesman. But it's like, I have a hard time sort of trying to describe to people why NHL hockey is so cool, especially if they've attended minor league hockey and try to get them to see, like, the difference. How would you sort of make that case for, like NHL hockey versus, whatever kind of hockey they might see, or if they've seen NHL hockey on TV, like, what's the difference with the live?
Brad.
So hockey, the way
did you try some of the double barrel demons?
I didn't get any of that, no.
Televised well.
I'd be happy to.
Football televises so well.
Do you want to open this, or should I open that sour I got?
No, open that. It was for a
Basketball's a
podcast.
little more
Thank you.
fluid. Hockey does not televise well just because it's so back and forth.
You want some of this,
Hockey
Brad?
is so small.
I want
But if you attend a hockey game in person, like you said, it's incredible.
It really is.
It's completely different from the television
Basketball,
experience.
Cal Smith all the way, baby.
And I grew up with it. I played it growing up, so I'm kind of used to it. But seeing it in person versus on TV is a completely different experience.
I'll just let it breathe a little
You're
bit.
basically playing hockey.
Did you
you're
want
skating?
Gingy? Do you want some?
Double-edged blades, double-edged swords.
Basically.
With a weapon in your hand, a stick.
Yeah.
And you're all
This is my
fighting
cup.
against a little small, I don't know, it's like a 3-inch puck or whatever. So it's pretty incredible to play in person and to see in person versus.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, it's
Like
I think
double
the thing that
barrel
always
demon.
gets me is the speed. People don't quite have a grasp of the speed, and the speed doesn't translate well to television. Like, I hear that from NASCAR people. It's kind of the same deal. They're like, oh, well, you can watch a NASCAR race on TV, and it's like, you just don't have a good sense of the speed. I think hockey's kind of the same way. Like, those guys are, skating at, 30 miles an hour or whatever. Hi, Sammy. Those guys are skating at, 30 miles an hour or whatever.
Preston's going to drink more.
Yeah, Preston's going to drink more, which is, I don't know about that. So anyway, the speed, I think, is kind of the thing that you don't really get appreciation for until you see it in person.
Exactly, and you mentioned I cover the Spokane Chiefs as a freelance basis.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
That's junior hockey. Whenever I
Gotta do
talk to
what you gotta
players
do.
in junior hockey who's had like maybe a 5 or 10 game audition in the NHL, the difference between the NHL and the junior hockey
Is
all of them say speed. In junior hockey, you got a little more time to make decisions. In NHL, you got about half the time. So the elite hockey players in the NHL, their decision making is incredible because it's so fast.
All right, so last thing here. All right, so we've been talking quarterback competition with everybody. This thing everybody wants to know. What do you think about what you saw today from Tinsley, Gordon, Cooper, Cruz, etc.?
Very impressed with Gordon. Tinsley has got some work to do. Who knows? Maybe that was his offensive line or his team around him. I don't know. Gordon looked really good. It's unfortunate we couldn't see Gubru.
Will you talk
Being a Spokane guy, I sort of seen him at Eastern here and there, so he's very capable. Camus Cooper he struggled a little bit. He had a few moments that kind of raised your eyebrow that said, "Oh, that's pretty good," but more often than not, he struggled. Gunnar Cruz is kind of the guy that I'll throw it deep and have some fun, see what happens. So I think
he definitely loves his arms.
Exactly.
Which is great, actually.
Going into the fall to be
Marty.
a battle between Blue Brood and
We're making connections here.
That's kind of the way I read it.
Will you talk for a couple minutes on the podcast about what it was like to see the club for the first time?
So, let's see who else we can get on the podcast. Who haven't we had on? Thanks, Kevin. Who else haven't we had on?
All right, so I'm gonna have one of my friends.
Oh, you got one of your friends.
My
Okay,
friend's
I'm
coming in. So
I'm
she.
going to pass her my microphone,
Okay.
and you can talk to her.
So this is my friend Marty. We went to WC together. I was at her wedding. She's one of my best friends. We are going to relive our college years tonight, thanks to my pregnant sister watching our kids. But Marnie, you had never seen the club before. What was your impressions of being able to see that today?
Oh my gosh, it was beautiful. I felt so fancy. just sitting there and getting to have a beer at
Yeah.
a Cougar football game.
Legally?
Yeah, exactly. It was a wonderful experience, and it was fun. Everyone there was having a great time.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I was glad. It was really cool that we could just that they did just $10 get in and had some fun. So does that mean you guys are going to buy club seats next year?
I mean, I think Corey's.
I saw Corey. He was talking about moving money around the budget already. So
of course he was.
I know you guys come out for a few games a year anyway.
Well, are you a club member?
No, you know.
Well, are you
I'm down in the. Well, you know.
But you are
I have
under
to talk.
the cover.
I have to talk Amanda into contributing to that.
I think she was sold as well. I think your lady was sold.
Maybe if we do it as a group, we can kind of like we can convince her. We can convince her to.
I think tonight we can do this.
Yeah. Well, that's a few drinks of Valhalla. We'll get her to go.
Well, she'll say yes.
All right.
Definitely.
Thanks, Marnie. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right. That's Marnie. She's great. She's a teacher, just like you, Jeff.
Teachers are amazing.
She's got a sweet job in the 5 school district.
And down sits Lars. Should we have Lars on?
Oh, we should have Lars.
We should have Lars on. So longtime readers of CougCenter might remember that Lars won. Was it a contest? I'm not even sure what it was, but it was like tell your Cougar fandom story, and I don't exactly remember what it was, the contest. But anyway, I remember you wrote about your history as a Coug. You were the winner, and I didn't even know you then, but now I know you now. So Lars, how you feeling today?
Jeff, I'm feeling great. We're back in Pullman, the happiest place on earth. How are you feeling about Kyle Smith doing the halftime show? Have we talked about that yet?
Yeah, we have spent the last 3 podcasts talking about our love
I've
for
heard
Kyle
listened
Smith.
to all of your guys' podcasts. And for anyone out there who isn't listening to this podcast, it's literally the best Cougar podcast we've got. So it's pretty awesome. My specific question, though, Jeff, is what did you think about Kyle Smith getting introduced at halftime of the spring game today?
Well, it was awesome because that would not happen in Spokane. And
This is very
with
true.
it being here and with there being a pretty good attendance, being able to do that was actually very cool. And, so one of the things about talking with Kyle Smith that was really obvious was he was really excited to be at this level. And we talked about this, I think, on last week's podcast, but just one of the big things is that he's literally never coached at this level. He's never been at this level. He went to I think a D3 school, was an assistant at San Diego, was an assistant at, Air Force, was an assistant at St. Mary's, was an and then head coach at Columbia, head coach at San Francisco. He's never been at this level of, athletics. And I think, introducing him at the halftime of even just a spring game, and have more people at the spring game than attended his basketball games in San Francisco is a really cool thing for him to be able to experience. So, yeah, I don't know, if you noticed on the board, but he was just, really just kind of beaming, looking around at the whole thing. So
I totally agree. And bringing up attendance, and I know you guys have already talked about it a little bit on the podcast, I really, really believe the spring game being back here, we had, 6,000 people-ish around there at this game. I can guarantee you, in the next 3 years, we're getting that thing over 10,000.
I think so.
100%. And for anyone who's thinking, hey,
it's an amazing starting point.
Yeah. And for anyone thinking the spring game isn't real Cougar football or anything like that, having this back in Pullman, we're sitting in a tailgate that we do exactly what we do for real Cougar football. It is awesome. Yeah. And the move to bring it back to Pullman is definitely one of the best decisions Pat Chen's made.
All right, so Lars, I need your take on the quarterback battle. Go ahead.
I am very encouraged that whoever wins the job this year can win us at least 8 games. I was very encouraged by Anthony Gordon, but more importantly, I am so excited for the quarterback battle. The quarterback battle next spring. I am not saying that I am anti-Cameron Cooper, but I will say
during the game.
Okay,
come on, don't.
All I'd like to throw out,
so you don't even.
All I would like to say on this is let's review some stats. let's review some stats. Now, I'm not exactly the stat guy that you two are.
That is true.
Nor that Kyle Smith is.
That
but
is
I
true.
would like to say, offhandedly, I think Cameron Cooper completed 3 passes and had
It
at
was
least
more
2
than
picks.
that.
At least
He did
2
have 3
picks.
picks, though, I think.
At least 2, probably 3.
I think it was 3.
I would just like to ask how many interceptions did Gunnar Cruz have today?
0, I think.
And let's talk about where Gunnar Cruz started his drive on the 25,
That's true.
and where did he end that drive? In the end zone.
That is true.
So, what I also love about Gunnar Cruz, and I might be the biggest Gunnar Cruz fan, and I am the vice president of Jeff's Cassidy Woods fan club as well.
I am
So
the president of the Cassidy
Cruz,
Woods fan club.
the Gunnar Cruz, Cassidy Woods combo is going to be awesome. But the really great thing that we were talking about during the game that I love about Gunnar is he's not afraid to make a decision.
Yeah.
He is decisive with the ball, and honestly, my untrained quarterback guy, I rely on BA for all quarterback analysis. But my untrained quarterback guy says Cameron was a little indecisive and maybe overthinking it a bit. And Gunnar, when you compare where Cameron Cooper was last year's spring game, that is the exact same spot Gunnar Cruz is right now. Right now. So you tell me who had a better spring game 2 months out of high school.
Yeah. I think
That's where I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Good.
Gunnar Cruz
like
could
that.
be awesome.
I like that. All right. Thanks, Lars.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you,
problem.
Lars.
Attaboy.
Yeah,
All
Lars.
right. We got one more CougCenter author to get on here. So
So-
you can talk about something while I try and get
So I
Scott
wanted to
on.
talk about this controversy over the ending score.
Scott!
So the
Yes.
final score was 25-24 Crimson. Actually, 2 of those final touchdowns for Crimson were on those 3 extra drives.
guys.
So
true.
all his team Anthracite / Team Gray were left in the dust. 'Cause
Yeah.
The game was over.
Yep.
Gray won, and then they gave Crimson 3 straight
possessions. Yeah.
And they got 2 touchdowns out of those possessions.
If you had Gray -3, you were screwed.
Yeah, I mean
That was a bad beat.
That's
Not
a
only
bad,
about
and I
Scott Van
did.
Pelt's
I did.
bad beat.
I put
Yeah.
$30,000.
30,000 shrimp
It was,
bucks, white shrimp bucks.
What I thought was like maybe half a year at WSU for B in 2035 or whatever.
You can blame Mike Leach for the fact that B can no longer go to college.
Yep. All right. We have the final CougCenter author. We've told you a lot of CougCenter authors come to spring game. Scott, one of our
Your lift or something.
I don't know,
Yeah, we
what do
might
you
have
call
to
it,
get
Swiss knife,
Or ride
Swiss
somebody
Army knife
else.
guys. Writes a lot of
Or
hot
that
cougar
too.
actions.
Yes.
It's got a lot of good insight on recruiting and everything.
More beer left
So
in this, Craig.
yeah, there's beer left in all those, Jeff. But
Not
that's because I
anymore.
was trying to share with other people, man.
Not anymore.
But Scott, what the question we've asked everyone? Thoughts on the QB battle?
Personally, I thought Gordon kind of separated himself today. I'd heard some rumblings that Cooper was kind of stepping up in practice.
Yeah,
But,
we heard that. For sure.
But unfortunately, today he didn't look that great.
No, definitely.
So right now, I'm thinking either Gordon or
Put Sarah on
DeBartolo.
if you have to.
Sorry, we just got interrupted by something. But go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I think right now the favorites either like Gabrud or Gordon. To myself.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, a lot of people asked me today, like, who do you think the quarterback would be? And my default was Gabrud. He didn't play, obviously. He was in sweats on the sideline. But they don't bring him in if they don't think he's going to be up there.
Yeah.
Just like Mitchell last year. So, but Gordon definitely impressed with his ability to move in the pocket, ability to create plays. Very Gardner-esque at times, and make some big-time throws. How about your overall thoughts on having this game back in Pullman?
I think it's great. I mean, you got everybody tailgating down here. We got the club seats opened up for everybody. A lot more party atmosphere. So I think an excuse for anyone to go back to Pullman outside the football season, plus the money it raises for the school. I think it's been a great change. As much as cool as the Spokane week was, being a Spokane resident, not resident, but growing up there, I think that was pretty cool. But I like the back-to-back approach.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. So we have a special guest, another special guest. She's not a CougCenter author, but she has given up a lot of time with her husband for the sake of CougCenter. A lot of hours of just sitting alone on the couch watching Real Housewives by herself, while Jeff is finishing up some post on. Thanks, Scott, by the way. Finish up some post on some minutia basketball players. But this is Sarah, Jeff's wife. Sarah, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
So I know you were disappointed because Amanda left with B, which meant that we couldn't have Amanda and Sarah Real Housewives talk on the podcast.
Well, we are the OG Real Housewives of CougCenter.
You are the OG Real Housewives of CougCenter. You two have endured a lot in the name of CougCenter, and without any of the financial gain, which we have yet to see. That's why we're doing this podcast, so we can become millionaires. But and then you'll see it. And it'll feel good. But anyway, so I know that you're an adopted Coug, but you're nonetheless a Coug through and through. So what was like coming back to Pullman this weekend, this random weekend in April?
I love coming to Pullman. I actually have been working on my application to be a special education teacher at Pullman High School.
That's great. Yeah, obviously Sarah is a special education teacher, so she is better than you. And I don't mean that. Yeah. Her job is harder than yours, and that's you all know that. But so I can probably dig into some Housewives talk with you if you want. I'm sitting next to Amanda. So what's your favorite Real Housewives show?
Probably New Jersey.
All right, so I know some things about New Jersey. So. Teresa is fucking crazy. I know that.
She's gangster, like mafia gangster.
Yeah, like but they're like not very good at it. They're not good at crimes.
No, she sucks at it. She had to go to jail.
Her eyes are super far apart, and it makes me worry about her. She is prone to these amazing blow-ups, which are legendary, which make the slog through the hours. Yes, if you're going to watch Real Housewives of New Jersey, I recommend the first season in particular, so you can catch some early Teresa table flips.
I don't know, this series was pretty good. Jennifer busted a wine glass and then threatened somebody with it, and she was like, dude, if I'm going to cut you, you know I'm going to cut you.
Yeah, New Jersey goes hard like the Orange County and Beverly Hills ones just can't touch. They go hard there.
They do.
Yeah, so
Mafia.
yeah, I mean, okay, we're not saying they're mafia. It's not racist. I just think they might pretend that they're trying to pretend that they're mafia, and they're just really bad at
But
it.
didn't they in like season 5 have like an actual like Joe Pistone or one of those actual mafia members' wives on the show?
I don't know that. That's
Yeah, they actually did. Like real mafia happening. So like I would be afraid if I was in Jersey.
yeah. See, so
They've got ties.
so what we're saying is, if you're gonna watch one Real Housewives show, it's got to be New Jersey. If you're gonna watch two Real Housewives shows, what's your second favorite?
I don't know. I guess you gotta go with the OG, the Orange County.
Is that the OG? Is that who's in Orange County? Is like
Tamara.
Vicky. I was gonna say Vicky.
Although,
Vicky is legendary.
I do have to say, I enjoy some Atlanta.
Yeah.
Atlanta, like they get down and they're real girls. Like I feel like I could be friends
the one that's
with
the
them.
lawyer on Atlanta.
She's gone.
I know, but
Phaedra Parks.
Oh my god! Like I cried for our legal system. Just every time she would talk, I'm like, this person has a law degree.
You know what? It actually inspired me and thought, I need to get my freaking law degree.
I know, that's right, because literally anyone can get a law degree.
I know, and she's making big. Like, her house was hot.
Yeah, but Candy's the real rich one on that one.
But Candy still sucks.
Yeah, they all suck. They all are terrible. You had the one that was married to the guy on the Falcons, and then Kim. Yeah, she's not. She had her own show.
Yeah,
she got a spin-off
too, but I can't watch that.
There's too many spin-offs to keep up with.
Yeah.
Oh, hey Jeff.
What are we talking about?
So basically, if you're looking at the QB battle, probably today Anthony Gordon is Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Ooh.
And then maybe Gunnar Cruz is Real Housewives of Orange County.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, who's the Jersey one?
Anthony Gordon.
Okay, I'm going to be watching that kid. This Jersey.
He's got a little Jersey.
I love those girls.
Yeah, dude, he was scrambling around. He ran for a touchdown. They had to pull it back because it was just too good. They're like, no, you got to throw for a touchdown, buddy.
That's making me excited.
That's too
about
hardcore.
This next year.
You know, but the thing with the quarterback battle, he could be the top pick, or he could be the number 1 guy, or he could be the number 3 guy.
But here's the thing: I think Mike Leach is like a Jersey house husband. He's a little wild, and because of that, I like what we have going on next year.
And the funny thing about Jersey is that the husbands are way more involved than any of the other shows.
They are.
They're just like
so
they're
fun.
they're their own characters. They have their own drama. Like it's basically like it's like the Jersey Shore kids grew up in have mansions and like or McMansions, I guess you could say. Yeah, just like having horrible opinions on things. It's great. They definitely are. They have makeup on. They know where they're pumping their businesses.
And wearing their shirts a little too tight.
A little too tight. And I'm a guy that wears some tight shirts, even though I'm a bit husky at the moment. But even I'm like, whoa, guys, dial it back. See a lot of nipples.
It's okay if you wear a tight shirt if you're not fist pumping.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you're fist pumping and all that. Just eat it. You just like took this opportunity.
Brian.
All right, so we're back here on Podcast versus Everyone. Podcast versus Everyone.
Podcast versus Everyone, your number one source for
there
cats
probably,
on the internet.
so we'll just go ahead and say right now, there probably was a hard edit that you noticed here. That's because my computer went to sleep as we were recording. We actually lost some of the recording, so we're just going to kind of wrap it up right now.
Yeah, we've said a lot of what we want to say. I hope you caught a lot of that hot Real Housewives goss.
And if you didn't, we will get some hot Real Housewives action later.
That's
summertime.
That's
I don't know. That's
I don't know what you're promising there, Jeff. What exactly are you promising? I don't know if you know what you're saying.
Nothing you can't do.
I know what I'm saying. I know exactly what I'm saying, Craig.
Right.
I'm a teacher. So, I choose my words carefully.
I mean, we're not going to have shit to talk about in the summer, so we're probably going to pivot hard to being a Real Housewives
We'll
podcast.
talk about all kinds of stupid shit over the summer.
But yeah, so this is probably the kind of end of legitimate things that we'll have to talk about.
Yep, that is true.
For about till fall camp in August.
Yeah.
So we'll be a little less nonsensical with our one on Tuesday, but this one I thought it turned out really well, Jeff.
Heck yeah! Live stuff's the best.
I'm really excited to listen to Preston's.
Michael Preston's drunk ramblings about
completely sober.
Michael's that guy who, when he gets super drunk, is like, "I love you, man.
Oh yeah,
I love you guys," and he like gives everybody a hug.
Yeah, Preston and I had a great weekend.
I love you.
Yeah,
I love you, Craig.
Yeah, I got another buddy like that where he says I love you, and you're like, all right, I love you too, man. Because I feel like if I don't say I love you too back, it's going to be one of those things.
It's going to be super weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But all right, so If you listen to all this, I am very proud of you.
God bless you.
Your ears probably hurt the variance in sound and the fight song. But yeah, so follow us on @Pod versus Everyone on Twitter.
Yep.
Send us an email with more complaints so I can make fun of you.
Podcast vs Everyone at gmail.com. Yep.
gmail.com. Yeah, do all that. Like us, subscribe us.
Heck yeah.
Give us 5 stars or else.
Yeah, or else we'll come get you.
We'll find you.
We'll find you.
We have your IP.
That's right. We know where the downloads come from.
We know we get them from Singapore. We know
right.
you. We know
We're
you.
looking at you, Singapore.
We're looking at you, Singapore. Why did you listen to 2 and then stop listening? I don't know. I'm hurt. I don't know why you'd be listening to this one specifically, but I'm hurt.
All right.
Also, PJ, I see the downloads we've had from Germany, and it's not enough to have listened to every episode.
By the way, since we got to the end now, we can officially say, PJ, we miss you.
Yeah, we miss you.
Thanks for having us.
We miss you here. All right. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back with another episode in a couple days.
Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.
We see you, PJ.